3,000 six-fingered ancient giants dug up by Ralph Glidden. Few have captured the imagination in the annals of archaeological discoveries, like the stunning revelation of the 3,000 six-fingered ancient giants uncovered by Ralph Glidden. The mere thought of such a discovery raises intriguing questions about the nature of prehistoric life and its connection to our modern world. With each unearthed bone, the mystery deepens, and the implications become more profound. Who were these giants? How did they live? And what led to their demise? Join us as we delve into the fascinating story of Ralph Glidden's groundbreaking discovery and the tantalizing clues it offers to a forgotten world. Hello, and welcome back to the Abandoned Archaeologist again, the channel to learn all about ancient archaeological findings. Today we'll talk about the discovery of 3,000-year-old six-fingered ancient giants by Ralph Glidden. But before we begin, to get your attention, we have a question you can answer at the end of the video. With a six-fingered giant, what else did Ralph Glidden find? Write down your answer in the comment section and see if you got it right. Here we begin. The Earth's past is shrouded in mystery, but we can gain insight into the distant past through fossils of extinct creatures like the dinosaurs. However, the discovery of the giants of Catalina is a topic that still remains unproven and mysterious. The man behind this claim was Ralph Glidden, an enigmatic figure who moved to Catalina Island as a teenager. Glidden was working as a carpenter when he met a treasure hunter, and together they began exploring the island. It's rumored that Glidden stubbed his toe on a human skull while looking for pearls. From then on, Glidden was on a quest to unearth more bones and artifacts. Discovery of a six-fingered giant. This discovery was done when Glidden had been exploring a cave in the Grand Canyon, when he unearthed the remains of a group of ancient giants, each with 6 fingers on each hand. The discovery made headlines worldwide, and many people were left wondering about the existence of these incredible beings. Glidden's discovery was not just 1 or 2 giants. He claimed to have found the remains of over 3,000 of these six-fingered creatures. They were estimated to be over 9 feet tall and had a much larger skeletal structure than the average human. According to Glidden, the giants lived in the area thousands of years ago and built a complex network of tunnels and underground structures beneath the canyon. The discovery was met with both excitement and skepticism. Many people couldn't believe such a find could be real, while others were eager to learn more about these ancient giants. Glidden was convinced that he had found evidence of a lost civilization that had once thrived in the area. He spent the rest of his life studying the remains and the underground tunnels the giants had supposedly built. While Glidden's discovery has never been conclusively proven or disproven, it has sparked many people's imaginations over the years. Some believe that the giants were part of an extraterrestrial race, while others think they were a lost tribe of humans that somehow evolved to be much larger than the average person. Regardless of what people believe, the story of the six-fingered giants dug up by Ralph Glidden continues to fascinate and intrigue people today. About Glidden and his discoveries. Digging up ancient burial sites of the native Tongva Indians, Glidden reportedly uncovered hundreds of human bones along with bowls and tools. The Tongva tribe inhabited the Channel Islands around 8,000 years ago, and Glidden's activities took place in the 1920s when archaeology was in its infancy. At the time, there were no laws to prevent Glidden's destructive behavior, and the practice of collecting and trading bones was not uncommon. However, it wasn't until many years later that people recognized Glidden's true character. Residents of Catalina described him as a grave robber who misrepresented his credentials, was a thief and a liar. Despite his lack of knowledge of archaeological practices and procedures, Glidden was hired by the Hay Foundation to excavate Indian artifacts. Unfortunately, he was a natural self-promoter and even hired a publicist to exaggerate his findings, calling him a professor and a doctor despite his lack of formal education. These stories gained traction in publications like Popular Science, the New York Times, and the Boston Globe, giving false validation to his work. Glidden started making up outrageous tales to up his game and get back on people's radar. He claimed that there had once been an ancient race of tall, fair-haired, blue-eyed giants living on Catalina Island. He promoted the idea that he had found skeletons of these giants ranging from 7 feet to 9 feet tall. However, there has never been any scientific evidence to substantiate these claims, and neither the giant bones nor pictures of them exist. Glidden wasn't the only one to make such a claim. In 1913, Dr. A.W. Fürstenen of Germany said he found the skeleton of what appeared to be an 8-foot-tall human in Avalon Bay. But once again, there has never been any physical evidence to prove this. William Wrigley Jr., the Chicago chewing gum magnate, purchased Catalina in 1919 and stopped all unauthorized digging to preserve the island's history. Glidden was allowed to continue because of his contract, but he lost funding from the Hay Foundation about 5 years later. It's generally believed that he fabricated the giant story and other tall tales to create interest and make money. Glidden hoped that by opening a museum to display the artifacts and skeletons he had looted and charging admission, he could earn enough income to continue his work. In the quaint town of Avalon, perched on the edge of the harbor, there once stood a peculiar museum that many described as eerie and bizarre. Dubbed the Catalina Museum of Island Indians, the structure was the brainchild of Ralph Glidden, an amateur archaeologist determined to leave a mark on North America's history. Glidden drew inspiration from a chapel he had seen in Malta, constructed using monks' bones. Eager to create something that had never been seen before, he set about incorporating bones into the very fabric of his museum. Leg and arm bones were brackets for skull-filled shelves, and toe and finger bones adorned the window frames. It was a macabre sight that totally disregarded American Indians and their culture. As time passed, suspicions began to arise about Glidden's fantastic claims. Archaeologists questioned whether he was collecting remains from all over the world and passing them off as discoveries native to Catalina. Some even speculated that he had purchased bones from people of Incan, African, and Egyptian descent and exhibited them as Indian relics. Despite Glidden's tall tales, his museum failed to draw the crowds he'd hoped for, and his earnings dwindled. To keep the public interested, he spun increasingly far-fetched stories. He claimed to have evidence of white Indians and even boasted of discovering the fabled Lost Temple of the Sun God, a structure that supposedly dwarfed even Stonehenge. Perhaps his most outlandish claim was the discovery of a soapstone funerary urn that contained the skeletal remains of a royal princess surrounded by 64 children. Though no photographs of this alleged discovery exist, a 138-pound urn was found and became a popular attraction at Glidden's museum, which ultimately closed in 1950. After Glidden's death, his entire collection was purchased by Philip K. Wrigley, who donated it to the Catalina Island Museum. Today, the museum houses Glidden's artifacts, journals, photos, and scrapbooks of newspaper clippings. 6 years ago, the museum held an exhibition that explored the strange and mysterious case of Dr. Glidden. The exhibition included human remains, which were later repatriated back to the island and reburied in an undisclosed location. Although the museum no longer believes Glidden's claims about giants to be credible, they understand that his story is a part of the island's history. Unfortunately, Glidden's excavation methods were haphazard, and he was not a trained archaeologist. As a result, very little is known about the island's native inhabitants. If Glidden's sites had been properly studied by professional archaeologists, experts believe we would better understand the natives' daily lives and activities. Glidden's lifelong quest for fame and notoriety ended in disappointment. Despite his efforts, he died penniless and largely unknown. Nonetheless, he remains a fascinating character in the island's history, a true legend in his own mind. What do you think of this six-fingered ancient giant discovery? Comment below. And the answer to our question is, Glidden uncovered thousands of giant bones, including skulls, jawbones, and long bones, some of which he claimed were up to 10 feet in length. Subscribe for more such videos.